on with our segment, the Jordan Porco Foundation. Our next guest, longtime friend and co-founder of the Jordan Porco Foundation, is Marisa Porco. I'm so happy to have you here, Marisa.
So happy to be here. Thank you.
She's a family friend, so we've been talking about recipes and trips and things like that. And she's here with Dr. Kevin Borup and Dr. Stephen Rogers from Connecticut Children's. It's an honor to have you both seated here with me today. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So, Marisa, let's get started. The Jordan Porco Foundation has evolved a bit. Tell us about that.
Yes, we we started our foundation in 2011 and hosted our first signature event in 2012, our Fresh Check Day. And after all these years, we have found a new partner to help expand the program across the country.
Suicide prevention is not an easy topic, but it's one that does need to be spoken about. So if you or someone you know needs help, please call 988 or text someone hello. This was founded because your son died as a result of death by suicide. Doctors, could you talk a little bit about the importance of spreading awareness of this program for all ages, but specifically for college-age students?
Yeah, so suicide's the second leading cause of death in kids starting at the age of 10 and carries through as the second leading cause of death all the way to the age of 34. And so it's a big problem, and we're trying to address that at Connecticut Children's. We've developed the new Youth Suicide Prevention Center at Connecticut Children's. And so that was announced in May of this year in celebration of Mental Health Awareness Month. And we have 4 basic areas for people to be aware of. We are trying to identify those at risk first and foremost so that we can get them to the help that they need. And so we are developing a true universal screening program at Connecticut Children's where all of our patients will be screened for suicide starting at the age of 10.
You know, that's so incredible to me to think of that age, that young age, and I do think social media does in some way, shape, or form play a role in it. But when I first met you, Marisa, I learned of a statistic, and I don't know if it has changed, but it was something like 1,100 college-age students did lose their lives to death by suicide. And you know, that's just heartbreaking. And Dr. Borup, I want to get to you too.
Sure.
Are you seeing those statistics stay the same, or is it expanding even more?
Well, what we know is that young people, mental health issues for young people are even more of a crisis than ever. And we've been so lucky to partner with the Jordan Porco Foundation in bringing on the Fresh Check Day program. Because if you don't know what it is, the Fresh Check Day program is an event on college campuses that brings a real positive vibe to the campus where young people can learn about mental health and mental health wellness. And Fresh Check Day has been so successful since 2012 that we have great data behind it. We've been able to collect over 100,000 surveys from college students in all the campuses we've been on. And importantly, what do they get out of this? 86% of college students who come out of a Fresh Check Day say that they're more likely now to help a friend, to recognize those warning signs for suicide. In addition, 87% of them say now they're more aware of college resources that they can take advantage of if there's a problem. And then, importantly, 84% of these college students say, well, I'm more likely now to reach out for help if I'm in mental health distress. And so this is just so important, and we couldn't be more pleased to take on the challenge of really working with colleges and universities to reach even more young people than we do today, which is about 200 university and college campuses across the country.
It's so impressive, Marisa, what you've done in this collaboration now with Connecticut Children's, and I know you guys have started these Fresh Check Days, but maybe if we could you talk about some of the warning signs and what people should be maybe aware of that are watching this right now? Maybe we can educate some folks today.
Yeah, I think that if we're talking about young people or young adults or students, any changes in behavior that aren't typical, things that you worry, I always say, listen to your gut. Spend some time to try to not only educate yourself, because there's so many resources online, but also take the time to have these conversations with your kids, and really make it a conversation around the kitchen table to talk about, make it a regular conversation to talk about mental health and wellness, and it'll reduce some of the fear around this topic.
Well, it is very hard to talk about suicide, obviously. Nobody wants to have anyone, lose anyone by that, but it is a real issue. And Dr. Rogers, what are you trying to implement in some of your programs now that you've learned from the Jordan Porco Foundation?
Yeah, so, to Marisa's point, it's not about recognizing symptoms necessarily. It's about having conversations. It's bringing it out from the darkness and actually having conversations, because we don't have to worry about planting the seeds of suicide with our youth and young adults. It actually is protective to talk about it, which I think Marisa was getting at. And so having the conversation and having direct questions like, "Hey, have you had thoughts about hurting yourself or killing yourself?" Is
even
actually,
as direct as that, even for all ages, is there different protocols for, younger kids to older kids? I mean, I think when people think Connecticut Children's, we think generally a very young crowd, but you're now helping some of the college-age students. But I don't even know how I would broach that conversation to somebody who I think about my nieces, our nephew's like 10 years old. That seems so.
It does seem young, but the reality is they are not only dying by suicide at the age of 10 and even younger, but more importantly, there's even more kids who are suffering with thoughts of suicide, and they're afraid to talk about it, or they're ashamed to talk about it. And we often have kids come in who say, even we have one story of an 11-year-old girl who screened positive, and her mom just couldn't believe it and kept saying, "Why didn't you tell me?" And she finally turned to her and said, "Well, you never asked."
Gosh.
And that's it's just a game changer for our staff. So we screen everybody now from 10 years and older, and it just makes a really big difference.
I do want to say, though, that there is hope, and that's why we're having this conversation. And through your organization, I know you've saved so many lives. I know that today we're going to reach out and save lives. Thank you so much for all the lives saved by the work of your organization, Marisa, now collaborating with Connecticut Children's, all the people that will be helped. If you or someone you know needs help, please call the 988 Lifeline. It's free. When you call, text, or chat the 988 Lifeline, your conversation is confidential. It's judgment-free. And you'll talk with someone who can help save your life. And obviously the Jordan Porco Foundation now in collaboration with Connecticut Children's. I hope that you'll come back and talk with us again.
That'd be
Thank you
great.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, stay with us. Our favorite CT Smiles is on the way, and our friends from the Alzheimer's Association are here to share some important information on how you can be a part of the remaining walks in our state when Hello Connecticut returns.